Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Monday, the 16th of May. It's a nice cool morning, so I have my sweater on. I like to wear layers actually. I do. I enjoy wearing a sweater. I'm so glad that I decided to share a bit of time with you all with my cousin Leroy. I hadn't seen him since 1998, and as we were saying, or maybe we didn't say, have always been close, but not the sort of family where, well, Leroy and I are like this. We love everyone, but we don't have to be around everyone all the time. And frankly, we prefer to do our own thing. We come and go. So, hosting Leroy here in my home for the last 2 days has been it's been an honor. Seriously, you know. Yeah, he was not nonstop with his recollections. Part of it has to do with age. Part of it has to do with what's going on. He just lost his sister. I just lost Patrick. We lost him within about a month of each other last year, and we were all close. His sister Anita. Oh, I loved the heck out of her. She was my favorite babysitter when we were kids because she was very loving, but she was strict and she would stomp and the earth would move and we would settle the hell right down. She did it with so much love. And then, like I said, with Leroy, he was a gangster, He was in the service, but he was also, he was a stick-up man for a long time, and just running wild all over the place, Um, but obviously a good heart, and after a time as an adult, he, you know, had a okay. It's time to settle down now. I've done enough of this, done enough of that. But in general, just my family line, some really cool, strong, educated people. I We did a lot of talking, a lot of looking at pictures. Drove, like I said, I drove him around Omaha a little bit, looking at sites. And he wanted to hear some music, of course, and so we didn't get a chance to play very much because there was so much going on. And thankfully, Leroy wanted to hear and know about my my music, and I burned him a CD and gave him a CD, and I was really happy at the response. I don't know what to expect, but I know that what I do is good and it's genuine, and it came through. So at one point, we're sitting around and had smoked a joint. Really enjoyed smoking with him. I said, well, one thing I really enjoy doing, Leroy, is when we're at home, in my home, and we're hanging with people, is I like to take requests. It's like, I can probably play pretty much anything you want to hear or something pretty close to it. And so I was surprised. He said, well, how about something from South Africa? Well, wow, cool. So the first thing I thought to play was the 12-inch single of the song by Hugh Masekela, Bring Him Back Home, Nelson Mandela. And that was a home run. Once they got done with the opening chant and they got into the rhythm, yeah, they always say, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When he was in the service, he's been all over the world. But he shared with me when he was in England that he was going out to the nightclubs, and he would there was this part where you could go from club to club to club. And he said he saw all these African musicians over there playing, and I thought to myself, my God, he probably saw play all these people that I, kind of idolize. Well, not anymore, but have great respect for. He couldn't remember the names, but it's very likely that he saw people like Mongizi Feza, Louis Maholo, or Dudu Pukwana. Those were some of the leading lights coming out of Africa in England in the late 50s when he was there. Blew my mind when he told me that. It was so much fun. So the other music that I played for him was, this was totally about back in the day when we were young. Played some Miles Davis, and it was just like my home was transferred back to my parents' home. He was pretty close to my dad. They used to run around. And frankly, my dad tried to help Leroy get out of trouble. And Leroy wasn't having none of it, But they loved to hang around and score women together, among other things. But I put this on, and it was kind of a magical transformation of the atmosphere. Someday My Prince Will Come. You know this album. You know how wonderful this album is. The playing on it, the tracks. It was special. So after I played the Hugh Masekela, I said, well, let's get some, let's go African. So I dropped on some Fela's London Scene. Yeah, and this was just right. Leroy loved it. I also had fun, showing him my record collection to a degree. Showed him my Flyover album, which is a marble vinyl. And then when I pulled this, I had to show him and say, see, this is another one of those variations on color vinyl. And it was all fascinating to him. At 84, he's not in the record stores and keeping up with stuff. And so it was great to share all this with Leroy. So good. The other two things I played for him, and it was fun because he wanted to hear this twice. We listened to this all the way through twice. Tutu, Miles Davis, because of the feel of this album. This has a city, metropolitan, big city feel to it, and like I said, he's up in Minneapolis, but he's been all over the world. He's been everywhere. Japan, Korea, England, Europe. And he said, yeah, we in the cut now. As you could see the little bit, you could see from my cousin Leroy, he's a pretty hip dude, even for his age, It's like he doesn't keep up with things, but it's like when you're an OG like that, which he is, you bring your respect with you from within, and you're just always hip. You're always cool. He's such a cool dude. At the gatherings, we had the gathering for Anita, the memorial. Then the next day, because Leroy and I left before the end of the memorial, they announced a picnic. So I found out about that when we went to see his brother Ronnie. So we ended up going to the picnic, and it was just a joy to be with everyone, interact with everyone, and watch Leroy with the rest of the family. And the last thing I played for him, which again was just, almost a cosmic experience, A Love Supreme, John Coltrane. Like I said, Leroy wasn't around all the time, but he'd be back and forth in and out of town. And he remembers those days in our home, my grandparents' home, people that he knew and other musicians that he knew. These people were in and out of town back in the day, the 40s, 50s, and 60s. They'd come through, sometimes gigging in Omaha. A lot of times it'd be on a circuit. They're on a circuit moving from Chicago to Des Moines, Omaha, Kansas City, St. Louis, etc. And so the people would come through and stay. So he didn't specifically remember John Coltrane, but he remembered that time and said, oh yeah, Coltrane definitely. And then the Miles thing, Miles coming through and scoring, he said, yeah, that's about right. He remembered other people that I wouldn't necessarily remember, people like boxers, big name boxers from the past, and sports people like Gale Sayers, who really didn't interest me, but I was around them, and wow, I completely forgot, way cool. I had mentioned I have some reviews to do. I'm not going to do them this morning because I need to listen to them again because I've been focused on this time otherwise. And it's just been fantastic, seriously. Seriously. What's up today is I have a photo shoot for that magazine article that will be out in July. That's what I have going on today. And other than that, I'm kind of reminiscing and kind of coming down from the visit. I just remarked to myself that it's such a bizarre world that we live in when the tangible results of love, having love, giving it, feeling it, how wonderful and enriching it is, why it is so hard for us as humans to be more loving to ourselves and to one another. I just got up and heard about the mass shooting of 10 folks, race related. I couldn't even stand to get the details. I can't stand to listen to the news. It's like the situation with Putin and the Ukraine. It's like it's just totally out of our hands and out of control, and this world is madness. And it just blows my mind that we're just the people on this planet as a whole are so out of balance that we can't treat each other right. It just blows my mind, to be honest with you. So that was one of the things that I really enjoyed talking to Leroy about, and I'm sure he won't mind me sharing this because there's some things that we share that it's history, but not everyone needs to know, but somebody needed to know. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All families have stuff like that, so we were able to share some stuff. But what I was going to say about Leroy is that as he's gotten older, and settled down, he does look back, and I asked him, because he told a lot of stories about things where he's been in bad fights, and cut people and been cut, shot people and been shot, and times when he just robbed people and just really cutthroat stuff. And I just asked him. So Leroy, I just have to ask because he made this observation about my older sister, and my older sister Stephanie and I are similar like this. We've always been very thoughtful and questioning and observant of things. He was talking about when he was much younger, and my sister Stephanie asked him when she was just a little girl, "Why are you going into the army?" Just like that. But as a kid, because she was like, "What the hell are you doing that for?" And Leroy got it, even from her as a kid, and it said, stuck with me forever. And so, in my own thoughtful moment, I was asking him, while he was relaying a story, I said, "So the thing is that blows my mind, Leroy, is how could you just do that? How could you just do that to these people, take to their stuff and whatever?" And he said, "Man, when you're young, and also at that time, he's like 20 years older than me, and there's a difference. Back in the 40s, in the early 50s, things really changed in the 60s, as they still do." But he said, "I wasn't thinking, I wasn't thinking. All I knew was this is what I want, and this is how I can get it." And he said it really wasn't until, as he started to settle down as an adult and reviewing things where he would ask myself, why the hell did I do that, And so I was able to take that position with him as a family member, loving family member, but someone who knows. I said, "So I just want to just reflect this to you, Leroy, even if it's not my place to do, but I see it, so I want to tell you. I hear you tell the stories. There's a certain amount of bravado I hear in your voice. I also hear a certain amount of enjoyment about sharing these details, but I also hear the regret, and I hear you kind of looking back at things, looking back with that whole prism of, I did this, it was exciting, but I regret it. And at first he was going to be like most people said, oh, it's just this is what happens when you get older. You reminisce. You're always going back. I said, I can relate to that, even at my age. That's happening to me a lot. But I'm telling you, Leroy, I hear you talking to me, and I hear the part of you that says, man, I don't know why I did some of this stuff, now that I'm looking back at it. And he said, you're right. You're right, And I said, again, I'm going to say this, Leroy, out of love, not knowing that it's my place to say it, but I think someone ought to say it to you. And I said, Leroy, it's okay for you to forgive yourself for who you are and the path that you've walked down in your life. He said, I know. I said, I'm sure you do, Leroy, but I think we all need a little boost and a voice of understanding that helps us with it. And I said, I'm telling you, Leroy, I can see. And it's okay for you to have been who you've been because of who you are now. You're a good man. You always were, even when you weren't manifesting good things. And that was really neat to share. And we shared some tears together, which is just man tears. That's heavy. And it's really cleansing, very cathartic and wonderful. So I'm hardly talking about music. I'm talking about me and my family, but this is my channel, and this is what I'm here to share with you. And thankfully, most of you appear to be fine with just hearing what's going on, besides the music. So that's what I got to say. Now I'm going to head and just stop, because I could just keep reflecting, because that's what I'm doing, is I'm just reflecting and just feeling really good. Okay, I'll talk to you.